I don't know how, I guess, sacrilegious it is to talk bad about the summertime, but honestly, I don't like summer. I think you can probably guess why. The heat. It's 85 degrees outside right now. Well, I'm in an air-conditioned house, so it's not like I'm suffering or anything. But I was out earlier, and the high temperature combined with the humidity just made me wonder, how could anyone even enjoy this time of the year? The hot weather, your body getting all hot and sticky, bugs coming out and crawling everywhere. Ugh, no thank you. We actually just had an issue in our house with ants coming into our kitchen. We had to take everything out of the cabinets and the pantry, and then call for an exterminator, and Terminex gave us a date for when the exterminator would come, and then for one reason or another, that date was pushed out another week. So we had to go more than a week with all of our stuff from the kitchen in boxes. We got ant traps that didn't do fucking anything, but thankfully, when the exterminator finally came, we haven't had any issues with ants in our kitchen. There have been some years where my room or my uncle's room would get ants because our rooms overlook the backyard where most of the bugs are. Thank God that hasn't happened this year, but most summers we do have a bug problem of some kind because it's summertime and bugs thrive the best in hot weather. Going back to the heat and humidity, the worst of it for me personally was last month, early June, where here in NYC we had a string of very humid days. It's funny, the temperature itself wasn't that bad, but the humidity was just unfucking bearable. And we hadn't yet turned on the AC, so as you could imagine, it was awful here in the house for those few days. And here's the thing with me, if it's hot and humid, I usually can't sleep. I toss and turn for hours on end, and at most, I probably get maybe 3 hours of sleep, if that. This was much worse last year, starting around late May, which is when it began getting hot outside, same thing with most years here in NYC. For several weeks straight, most nights I sleep during the day, but you get what I mean. I just barely got any sleep because of how hot it was. I usually associate this time of the year with bad quality of sleep. Now, admittedly, this year hasn't been as bad. A lot of June here in New York felt more like October, where several days the high temperature would only be in the 60s, and I think a few instances the high 50s even. And I was not complaining at all. I was sleeping like a baby, the weather felt very nice, and when I went out, I would even wear a light jacket in fucking June. I loved it. But I know some people who are complaining about it. When is this summer weather going to arrive? I want to go to the beach. You'd really take the ugly, muggy, sticky, disgusting weather summertime usually brings over this? I thought they were fucking crazy. But alas, no more of that weather. Summertime weather is in full swing now. Right when it officially turned summer, it took no time at all for that weather I hate so much to fully kick in. June 24th, the same day NYC had a mayoral primary of all days, the temperature reached over 100. It was the first day in NYC in, I think, 15 years at least, the temperature reached that high. Thankfully, I didn't have to go out that day, but I've been told by plenty of people just how miserable the heat was that day. And I know there are other places in this country, like Arizona, for example, where the temperature reaching over 100 is just another Tuesday for them. You had 100-degree weather in New York? That's nothing for us. Quit your complaining. Yes, congratulations. You're so tough and brave. I'd give you a medal if I were speaking to you in person. Anyway, I'm not a fan of the other extreme either. I don't like winter as well. I don't like how cold it can get here. I don't like snow, but for me at least, the cold is easier to manage than the heat. When it's cold out, you can bundle up and wear multiple layers of clothing, a hat, gloves. And, I mean, our bodies generate heat. We have natural mechanisms to keep ourselves warm. When it's really hot outside, though, I mean, you can wear shorts, a t-shirt, or a tank top, or any kind of light clothing in general, or hell, you could even be fucking stark naked outside. You're probably still going to feel miserable. And that's why I will always take the winter over the summer. At least winter doesn't have awful humidity that makes me feel sweaty and sticky and disgusting overall. Ugh, I hate that sensation. And at least I don't get sunburnt during the winter, which I am prone to during the summer, if I'm outside for a long period of time, because my skin is super sensitive to the sun, the joys of being white. And yes, I know, you can get sunburnt at any time of the year, but I mean, come on, what part of the year are you showing the most skin? Exactly. The only thing that made made me love summer as a kid was, of course, summer vacation. But even then, the novelty of not going to school kind of wore off after probably the second week. Because it's not like I did shit with my summer vacations. By the time August would roll around, I'd be like, you know what, I actually wouldn't mind going back into a routine and interacting with people again. I mean, there was the aspect of having to wake up at a normal time again, which I fucking hated, but everything else I didn't really mind going back to by the time my summer vacation was coming to an end. I guess my two favorite months would be spring and fall, though with spring I usually get my ass handed to me by allergies. Ugh, and this year was no exception. And the fall, I don't know, the whole vibe of the season has always kind of depressed me, but even still, I much prefer it over the summer. I don't know why summer is specifically seen as the season where everyone goes out and socializes and does things. Because the heat is actually what dissuades me from going out. I much prefer going out during the colder months as opposed to summer. And from that, I'm sure you could guess that I'm also not a beach guy. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.